Hi, I'm Yinka, and this is The Hurt Locker, a podcast where we open a door into men's mental health. Come and go.
Got about a little bit in the army, but I don't care because I'm just enjoying it because I just love stand-up.
Who told you were funny?
Like, I've had a bit of an addictive personality.
Did that impact you? Did that affect you?
I'll be honest, right? I've been through some pretty dark spells.
Some people, they just lock it away. You're listening to The Hurt Locker, the podcast that opens the door on men's mental health. And for tonight's guest, we have none other than local national comedian, Pat Smith. Pat, welcome to The Hurt Locker.
Hello. All right.
You look chilled.
Yeah, I'm chilled, man. I'm resting. I'm resting
Good.
up. I've been grafting, mate.
Good. So tell me, where are you in the world?
I'm in Essex.
Essex boy then, yeah?
Yeah,
Born
man.
and raised?
Yeah. Got about a little bit in the army, but ended up back in Essex again, didn't I?
Okay, I'm going to come on to that. The army and all of that. So for the benefit of people who don't know you, who is Pat Smith?
I am, a comedian from Essex. There's ex-army, try not to take things too seriously. I don't know, should have prepared for that question a little bit more, shouldn't I? But yeah,
Not at all.
That's pretty much it at the minute, mate. I'm just trying to pursue comedy full time and not get too bogged down by the rest of life. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. So, straight question. Who told you were funny?
Oh, maybe no one, actually, thinking about it. You always get a sense, don't you? You always get a sense from people, mainly from them laughing. That's a strong indicator.
Obviously, a comedian where there's no jokes, it's not going to happen, is it? It's a limited career.
But no, I mean, if you go back to school, then I think most people it just starts out as either you were weird or just a bit of a twat or a weird twat. That's it, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
How tall are you?
How tall? I'm 5'8". I think, yeah, I'm 5'8".
Okay, so you got the gift of the gab then, really, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Why is the height coming to it?
No, because sometimes, right, comedy and laughter and making other people laugh is one way of getting yourself out of scrapes and bothers and that, if you're not handy with your fists.
Yeah, I need that. Yeah, I'm terrible at fighting, which is ridiculous.
I don't believe that.
No, I am.
I can believe that one. Not one bit, mate.
No, you really should. I think I've been knocked out in every fight I've ever had. Yeah.
Go on then. Tell me about growing up in Essex.
Mate, it was quite nice, to be fair. I grew up in a nice little village called Hockley, and then pretty much it was like we didn't really have any dramas or anything. It was nice, man. It was nice where I grew up, and then at 9, so there ain't really a lot to report. I mean, I was a little bit sort of went a bit off the. I wouldn't say off the rails. I think I was fine. Do you know what I mean? But compared to how nice
the neighbours in Hockley,
yeah, it was sort of like, do you know what I mean? If anyone does anything wrong, then people would be talking about it. So yeah, I think I was maybe I was a little bit shady for a while, but then at 19 I was off in the army anyway, so I left that. Yeah, just out and about from there, and then that's sort of where that's sort of how I was like, okay, I'm pretty bad at fist fighting, because if you're going into the army and you're a cocky little teenager, you think you're it, don't you? That's where I'll be mouthing off and then just getting dropped.
Tell me what was home life like?
Good, mate. In fact, you know what I was going to ask you is, how did you start all of this, and what made you want to do this with comedians?
You know what? This has just been an evolutionary thing. It really, it's been organically, it's just grown and grown. And it seems to be that comedians have come over one comedian's come, and then they'll let their other mate know, and we can say, Tim will say, Tim does all the behind the scenes graft.
Yeah.
And he says, well, we've had this comedian on, and we know he's part of your network and that. And then certain comedians have endorsed others to come on. So
you weren't specifically going out looking for comedians. Who did you start with then? Just random people? What was it, like mates and stuff like that?
One of our earliest ones was an American comedian, Jim Mendrinos.
Oh, so early doors, you were getting into the comedy side of it early.
Yeah, it just happened to be like that. And what kind of captured it for me and nailed it was when he spoke about his mental health and suicide. Mm. And he said, I've never spoke about this to anybody or spoke about it on stage. Why is that?
He thought he'd crack that open on the podcast.
Yeah, it just happened organically. You know, it just happened. And then from there, Tim's being brave, and we started just developing it bit by bit by bit.
So what came first, the podcast or the name?
Tim came first, because he approached me and said, I've got this idea and all of that. And then we started chewing and throwing about what it could be like. Well, we already knew the subject matter was going to be, you know, mental health and all that. So one of the films I like anyway was The Hurt Locker. And I thought it was a great name for the podcast, you know.
It's a good name, to be fair.
Yeah. And it's that because we fucking don't talk as guys. You know, we don't talk. And okay, I'm gonna put this to you. You lived at home with mum and dad?
Yeah, it was all right. It was nice. I got nothing to complain about growing up, really.
Okay, so did your dad tell you he loved you?
Yeah, they were both great.
Did your mum tell you she loved you?
Yeah, you can do all the digging you want on that one. That's pretty sound, to be fair.
Okay, that's interesting. And you're smiling there. I'm intrigued why you're smiling. But we'll park that one to one side. So, any siblings?
Yeah, I've got one sister.
What's your relationship like with her?
Yeah, all right. To be fair, we got about 6 years between us. So I think everyone always says, don't they, they're a little bit closer if it's a smaller gap. So because you just grow up different, don't you? So, but no, we're pretty tight considering it wasn't like, I mean, we was always at it. Growing up, but that's just normal, isn't it? I think.
Okay, so
she was a grass, mate. She was a little grass.
Of course she was. Of course, especially if it's 6 years difference. You know, she's playing the game, though, isn't she?
And she's good at playing the game. She's smart.
No, she's playing the game now. You know, as the eldest, did you ever feel pressure on you to be responsible and all that?
Nah, not really. I think by the time she was getting into her teens, I was already off, wasn't I?
Absolutely. Yeah. So tell me, I'm intrigued then, the army. What do you know people who were in the army before that? What attracted you to it?
No, I was going to join up with my mate because he was going and I was at a bit of a loose end. I didn't really know what to do. I was always big on exercise and sort of like, I've had a bit of an addictive personality and I was pretty addicted to various things, but exercise as well.
No, I understand that.
And so I was like, I knew I wanted to do something like to do with working out. So I was going to go down the personal trainer route and done like sports science and stuff at college. Maybe go down the physio route, but I wasn't great at concentrating. So I thought uni would be a huge waste of money. So in the end, my mate mentioned the army, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. And he didn't get in the end. We both had heart murmurs, and apparently his was too bad, so they didn't let him in, but they let me in, and then I was off.
How did that feel when he didn't get in and you did?
I was just a bit gutted for him, to be honest. It would have been nice to do it together, but yeah, it was just he was proper cut up. Do you know what I mean? Because to start with, that was like his idea to start with.
Yeah. Did the army scare you?
No, I didn't really think about it. I was a bit of a muppet, to be honest, when I was younger. I didn't really risk wasn't really something that computes. I'm guessing that's pretty normal, isn't it? When you're younger, you don't think things through properly. But no, I couldn't say it was scary. Although I do remember in training, because I went for the paras to start. I knew nothing about the army, right?
Wow, the paras is a hard deal.
I know. Yeah,
Hard
I ended
deal.
up, because at the end of training, you do the test is called P company. It's like a week long, and that was I never realised I had like one leg longer than the other, so I was sort of struggling through the first time, and I ended up I failed the first time because of injury. And then this is how I know. This is how I was like, okay, look, fist fighting ain't for me, because one of the tests is called milling, right? And you
I
got to
know
put
what
on.
milling
You
is.
know milling,
Yes.
yeah. It's
Yes,
mad, isn't it?
yes, yes.
It's
Go on, for the benefits of listeners, tell them what milling is.
yeah. So basically, you just like you put some gloves on. You're not allowed to duck or block or anything. You just got to punch each other in the face for a minute straight. And yeah, that was when so like the second time I was sort of fixed. Do you know what I mean? I fixed my back and my hip and all that, and I was feeling fit. But then it got to the milling, and I think the third time in that minute where I got knocked down, they were like, "All right, he's clearly got a concussion." So, and they didn't let me get up the third time. And they were like, "That's where I." So I had to transfer. They were like, "No, I don't think that. I don't think the Paris is for you, mate." Which is a shame, because I got proper fit at that point. Like, I took it really serious. Do you know what I mean? Done all the rehab, done give up smoking, give up drinking. I was fit. I just I don't know, I got a thin skull, I guess.
Yeah, no. And so what about your tours? Where did you end up?
Well, by the time I joined, all the fighting tours were winding down, so I got quite lucky with that, because we did. Well, I saw the effects of all the PTSD and stuff on all the blokes that. So it was. I think the last Herrick that they'd been on was I was with One Royal Anglia and the Vikings, and the last Herrick tour they'd done, which was their fighting tours, was I think it finished like just before I got there. So obviously off the back of that, you got all the lads that are sort of like, oh, I'm done with this, and they leave, or the ones that are a bit more full on behind, like they bleeding green. Do you know what I mean? And they stay in, and then over the years, you see the effects of what's happened there, to the point where one of the lads after I left, he did, one of our sergeants, he did take his own life.
I'll come on to that. I'll come on to that in a bit. I mean, you mentioned seeing the effects of PTSD, etc. Did that impact you? Did that affect you?
I think I just counted myself lucky. Do you know what I mean? Because you see everything like that. I mean, it's a weird enough. Even if you don't do any of the fighting tours. I mean, the stuff that we were doing was all just training tours. Do you know what I mean? We're going to like Nigeria and.
You've been to Nigeria?
Yeah, I went to Nigeria. Yeah, that is the reason I got out in the end. Actually, I got malaria while I was over there.
Don't! I had a dear friend that went to Ghana, black lad, got malaria and died.
Really?
Yeah, died.
Oh shit! I mean, yeah, he's back. What type of malaria was it?
Okay, that's interesting. You saying that? I don't know. I don't know.
You get like we had a couple of lads go down with it. All of the ones that were on the same tour that I'd done, and there was like a variety of because obviously there's hundreds of different strains, isn't there? So I took all my tablets, and like they were like, yeah, you take them all, but like that's the only precaution we can give you, but they can't protect you from everything. So we had lads come back with all types, and one of them, I think he got brain malaria, and he was in a bad way. I think they put him in an induced coma, if I'm remembering that right. Yeah. So serious stuff, isn't it?
Serious. So what are the countries did you go to?
What did we do? I've done Canada, America, Kenya, Nigeria. We went to Gibraltar. That was just for parade stuff. And then Scotland and Wales. They don't count, do they?
Nah, you don't need passports for them. You don't need passports for them.
No, technically, if we're going on the technicality, they are countries.
Yeah, they are. Nigeria made you think, I've got to get out of the army then. Are you a patriot? Whatever that means.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think, I like our way of life.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we're going to have a discussion now. Okay. Come on, then. Come on. Come on. And so when you went to Nigeria, for example, it's rough there. Yeah?
It's not.
It's
I mean, it ain't the same as here, nah.
it's not the same as here. And I've been, and I couldn't fucking wait to get back here. I can assure you of that.
we were training their army and navy, and we were on there. I think it was their infantry training centre that we were based in. But we get there, and when we rocked up, we came through the gates. They got these huge archway gates, right? And they're armed. They're obviously all the soldiers on the gates are armed, and they're checking your IDs and everything like that, and proper like checking the vehicle over, everything like that, proper legit. And then they wouldn't let us in until they radioed through and made sure like who we are. But then you look left and right, and the entire rest of the camp's got no gates or walls. So you've got like people taking this really seriously, guarding this one tiny road, and then like
Absolutely.
hundreds of farmers just walking in and out.
Absolutely. It's all for fucking show.
It is for show. You're right. That was, I mean, all the stuff that we trained them on, they were, I think like they did like a parade at the end when they finished training. They'd done a big parade, and like they just scrapped everything that we taught them, and they just did basically a show parade for the general that rocked up because he was the one that's
He's the big cheese. He's the big
they were
cheese.
they were trying to impress him, and he just wanted to see something fancy looking. So they were doing like abseiling, like front ways, so like facing the floor, just jumping off buildings, firing at the floor, and we were like, why? Why would you ever like? You don't even have the money to barely fill a magazine with rounds.
Spot on.
Why would you waste that firing at the floor to impress a general?
Spot on. Crazy, isn't it?
It doesn't make any sense.
Crazy.
But different country, innit?
How long were you in the army for?
I've done 6 years in total.
Okay. And then you said Gibby, and then
what
was it then?
I was about Nigeria. Nigeria was, I think I was about 4.5 years in, about 4 years, because then I come back, went on a promotion course, and that's when I realised I got malaria. Because obviously, like army, innit? So promotion course is just like shut up, suck it up, keep going. And I did, but ended up in intensive care for a week because that's obviously malaria. It's not a cold, is it? So I ended up, I think they diagnosed me with like malaria, influenza, and pneumonia. And then, done a week in intensive care, come out, and I couldn't really walk. So I was like, to be honest, I can't be bothered to train hard enough to get up to the level to go back on the promotion course. Because I was already sort of like, I could take this or leave this. I had other things that I wanted to do anyway. So I was like, at that point, I just wanted to try other things. You know what I mean? Like start some businesses. I trained for, I used all like my resettlement stuff to open a pub, which that never happened. We couldn't find a premise. Yeah, we couldn't find any premises that were suitable. We was going to open a little pub, but then I got a job up in the city, so I thought I'd see what the city's like working in London, which I ended up doing 6 years there. When COVID started, that was after about 2 years, I started working from home, and I started a gambling company.
Interesting.
That folded pretty quick.
How the fuck did the gambling company follow pretty quick?
It sounds like, well, it was like online competition. You know when you see them raffle companies where it's like you can win a car?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It was basically one of them, but we just didn't have enough money behind us to, you have to sink a load of potential losses. You've got to eat a load of losses, haven't you? To be like, we've got to give this car away to show people they can, win a car.
And all of that malarkey,
But we didn't have enough money behind us to give a car away, so it was just like trying to get it off the ground. It was we had to give up in the end. But yeah, and then up until last year, end of like November, I think it was, when I was made redundant from that city job that I was still doing, and then now I'm just pursuing comedy full time.
Okay, you won a comedy competition, didn't you? And then you went on tour with Jim Davidson.
Yeah, well, he doesn't actually have tour support, so that was sort of like I did a couple of shows with him, but he don't normally have any support. So that was a good experience. Yeah, so I won. He done a TV. He done like a comedy sort of version of X Factor type thing,
Right.
and yeah, I ended up winning that, and the prize was like supporting him on tour and my own special. So we done the. I think where was it? It was the Gaiety in Southsea, I think I supported him there. And then we filmed, it was myself, Jerry Kay and Jim filmed specials all on the same night at the Britannia Pier Theatre in Great Yarmouth. So that was a great experience.
And so what did you take from that?
Well, I just assumed that I'd peaked and it was going to peter out from here. I was like, there's no way. There's no way. I was like, it's going to be, if it goes all right, it's going to be a long time until I'm back here in a packed theatre of nearly 1,000 people. I just assume, to be honest, I've never tried to assume that it's going to get any bigger than it is. Just take one thing at a time. Always have something to work towards. That is the thing, right? Because talking about the mental health side of it, that was after that company, we closed that down.
Yeah.
I was really at a loss there. I was at a loose end, sorry, because I didn't really. I don't know. It's stupid to assume, isn't it? But I was like, this will obviously work. So I mean, this is the way out of the job because this is what I'm working on. Like this is obviously the next thing, and then I'd already I just assumed I knew that I didn't want to sort of work for someone else. But I hadn't found comedy by then. That started on a whim. The comedy that was a hobby.
Okay. Just go back to the mental health stuff. You mentioned whilst in the army, PTSD, you knew a guy who died, ended his own life. Have you known other people, friends, etc., who've died by suicide?
No, I've not really been touched too much by. I'm just trying to think. No, I don't think so. Oh, obviously not. It would be more memorable, wouldn't it? That's it's a ridiculous
maybe,
thing to have to search for.
Well, true, yeah, but sometimes with some people, they just lock it away, until something triggers them and that. So what about the impact of your colleague in the army who died by suicide? What were your thoughts on that?
Well, everyone was like pretty affected by that. I hadn't worked with him as much as others, but I had a lot of mates that worked closely with him and stuff like that, and it's just a huge shock. And to the army since then, everything I've heard is that they are tightening up and becoming a lot more aware with regards to mental health because you just can't afford that. Do you know what I mean? Like I think it was sort of when I left, they went out to Cyprus for a couple of years, and it was when I went out there, everyone you could tell it was very much more in the picture of like people looking after their mental health. Blokes that we'd be going out multiple times a week, drinking and stuff like that. They were like, I've stopped drinking. It weren't doing. They were like more acutely aware of the effects of everything, and they're like, no, we're trying to clean our act up and get their lives together. I don't know if that's an age thing, just the fact that we got to the point where everyone's trying to like get married. You got to be a bit more responsible, but I think some things were taking its toll on others. But that comes as a bit of a shock because it don't matter how much you worked with someone or not, you still know them, you still see them around, don't you? And it's like it's
a loss.
The things that they do for for their country and for their mates, whatever they've been through. I didn't know him well enough to know exactly what he'd been through and what he was struggling with, but a lot of people did, and I'm just glad that not more people have got to that point because I know that some people have been through some shit.
So I'm just diving in. What's in your hurt locker, Pat? Have you ever struggled with your mental health?
Yeah. I've been through some pretty dark. I'll be honest, right? I've been through some pretty dark spells that have lasted a while, and I put them all down to I can't really remember what that feels like because it's in exactly the same way as, I mean, I don't know if you started this because of, well, have you ever been affected by depression and suicidal thoughts and stuff like that?
I haven't been affected by suicidal thoughts. I have been down. I have
Yeah.
had moments whereby I'm really, really down and I can feel that depression there. Yeah. I have personally lost people to suicide as well. This has never been a motivator to do the Hurt Locker. It's just that over time, you asked me a question right at the beginning in terms of how I got into this and all of that.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I realized from a young kid, but I didn't want to acknowledge it, was people used to gravitate towards me and tell me what was going on in their lives, knowing that I wouldn't go anywhere with it, you know. I'm an all right listener. And it was only when somebody passed away that I kind of threw myself into that therapeutic space.
Yes, you've got that. Do you do anything remotely like that professionally?
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay, so the link is there as well as that. So
Yeah.
that's where is that after you were affected personally?
Before.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you already knew, sort of, before you went into that career, you already knew that you was the sort of the go-to man when it comes to thoughts and feelings and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I said to you at the beginning, us guys, we don't talk.
Yeah.
So what happened with you then?
Yeah. Well, what I was getting at is that if you haven't, basically, when you get to that headspace where it's like that dark, you can't really remember what it's like to be happy. Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of the same the other way. And I think it's important to remember it, but that's like a motivating force for me. Is like I can't really when I'm fine, like I'm doing all right now. I'm always a bit up and down, but I think that's important for like the creative process. Do you know what I mean? I think if you're just normal all the time, I mean, I tried meds that just flattens you out. That's ridiculous. You
Go on,
can't. You
what meds did you try?
Sertraline.
Sertraline. How long for?
I don't know, probably about a year. But then, like, you have to take more and more, and I ended up just going to cold turkey. Which is anyone that's on sertraline, that is a terrible idea because the withdrawals are horrible.
Absolutely, absolutely. But in terms of those types of meds, SSRIs, you're only supposed to be on them for like 6 months and that, and have
Mm,
regular reviews.
it might have been 6 months. I don't know. It was so long. It was a long time ago now. But either way,
But
I
you,
remember it being like a sustained period of time, and then being like, I mean, you're just flat. You're just a bit nothing,
yeah,
aren't you? I was like,
yes,
I'd rather get my shit together and then be
yeah,
up and down a little bit, rather and
yeah.
try and control the up and down instead of you just lose you otherwise, didn't you?
Loads of people talk to me about it, talk about feeling numb, or can't even get a sense of enjoyment in anything that they do.
Yeah, that's pretty
So,
much how it goes. I think, especially if you're, I mean, not that comedy was on the radar back then, but I mean, you're still that person, aren't you? So you still know if something's missing, and you can't.
absolutely.
What's the point if you're just going to go through? Just get up in the morning, just feel nothing, go to work, come back, feel nothing, go to bed. Like it's pointless, isn't it?
Yeah. And again, you asked me a question, and that was one of the things about comedians in terms of you wear masks. And what I mean by that is you love the adulation of being on stage and everything like that. And it's a bit like a rush.
Yeah,
And when you're not on stage, you need to find something to get that next fix, as it were. Otherwise, what's the point? And that's what
yeah,
Jim Mandrinos and others have said, you know. It's like you're chasing the dragon all the time.
yeah. I think that's. I mean, I I can't remember where did I get up to with that other thing with the because that all ties in. It's like the when you feel terrible and you can't remember what it feels like to be good,
Yes. Yeah.
feel good and happy, and
Did
when
you
you
ever
feel
feel
fine.
suicidal?
I mean, without going into it too much, there's been definitely been some pretty bad spells. But what I put that down to is so after you get through all the med stuff, and I say it's important to remember because I think personally, and I know not everyone's the same, but I think personally that mine was coming from like a deep, almost like a deep rooted sense of lack of achievement and success and just like worthlessness and stuff like that. And that's why like, that feeling, I want to, I think it's important to remember and cling on to that feeling of just like hopelessness and just being completely lost, because that's like my driving force that keeps me motivated and determined and disciplined every day. It's because I never want to end up back in that space. And sometimes I take it a little bit too far, to be honest. I'm like, no, I get a bit OCD with the working. It's like I haven't done everything that I said I was going to do this week, so I'm not going out for a pint. And it's like, well, chill out a bit, do you know?
Are you hard on yourself?
Yeah, I think that's. I've always sort of, I don't know. I've always been like goal orientated. I say that, but I've always personally, like I'm not into like team sports or anything like that. But like anything that I've done, like I got to, for example, grade 8 on the saxophone when I was about 16.
Fuck off. Did you?
Yeah, I don't play anymore.
That was my instruments of choice as a kid, but I
Yeah,
couldn't afford it.
oh, you didn't play? Mate, it was. I got to admit, that was something that was great to be able to do, and I don't play anymore, and I should. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm aware that there are other people.
You well should.
People like yourself. There's other people that would love to have that skill. I can only do like one thing at a time. Do you know what I mean? But and that's another thing where when it comes to sort of like I want to get good at this, I saw everything more as like it's like a goal, like a tick box. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, I've done that. Next thing.
Okay.
Done
Can
that
I
next thing.
have you ever received diagnosis?
What for?
ADHD, autism?
Nah, you don't need that, do you? Just some things are boring.
It was just that pursuit, that single focused pursuit that you have. And there's certain qualities and traits.
Yeah, I know, but I'm aware that that's not a good way. That's not a good way of living. Because if you're just constantly seeing everything as I've got to get this done, tick that box. What's the next thing? You lose sense of the fact that life is just a constant, ongoing struggle that you've got to find a way of enjoying. And that's the only thing that I've found where I've been like, okay, I'm going to put myself forward for every opportunity, sign up for every competition, apply for every gig. That sort of thing is comedy. And then I'm like, doesn't matter. If I get it, I get it. If I get through, I get through. It's like, I don't care because I'm just enjoying it because I just love stand up. And that's the first thing that I've sort of found, which,
That's your passion.
yeah, whereas everything else has been, and personally, I did a lot of things where I was like, oh, okay, like I've got really good at this, and then I'll drop it, and then I got really good at this, and then I'll drop it. Do you know what I mean? Whereas professionally, I didn't really pursue anything to that level. Do you know what I mean? Like I never did that personal training thing or physio thing. I went into the army and I didn't promote, and then I went into
General.
I went into the city and I didn't promote. And then I went into I started that business and it flopped. Do you know what I mean? Everything's just like,
that's because your heart wasn't in it.
well, yeah, exactly. You got to find the right thing, and I'm lucky to have found that. But it's not only finding the right thing; it's finding the right mindset as well, isn't it?
100%. Tell me, what have your folks made of you and your comedy?
Yeah, they're supportive. They, in fact, I think the first show they ever came to was me winning that TV show. So that's cool.
Yeah,
That was a nice thing to happen in life.
definitely.
Yeah.
And so where do you see yourself heading over the next 12, 18 months?
To be honest, at the minute, mate, I'm just trying to I do a lot of stuff on the socials, and then I don't think people quite realise. In fact, they might do if they listen to this because there's a lot of comedians on, but I don't think they quite realise how much goes on behind the scenes when it comes to comedy. Because I'm starting to get to the point now. I'm on like month 2 or 3 of trying to do this full time, and everything I want to achieve, I don't have any time for. I don't know how I did a job. Do you know what I mean? On top of this. It's insane. I've got to keep up all of the online stuff, and that's like a whole day a week.
Yes.
Try and book. I don't have an agent, so I'm doing my own bookings. So that's like sweeping all that up. That's a day a week.
An agent?
No, I don't have any representation yet. So if anyone's watching this, I don't know, hit me up.
Okay.
But no, I'm taking my time. I'm aware that I'm doing this a little bit. I'm doing this a little bit too early. I'm giving it a good go, and I'm just trying to make a living at the minute. I'm not I haven't been going 12 years, and I'm like, okay, I'm trying to get on live at the Apollo. I'm just trying to make a living and get as good at this as possible, and luckily I can pay my bills. But there's a lot to do. There's a lot of writing, filming, editing, marketing, booking. It's so much that you don't think about when you start. When I started, I was like, oh yeah, I've got some jokes. I'll just go on stage somewhere. You're like, oh, if you actually want to do it properly, you're like, oh, Jesus, you really have to want to do it.
So we were supporting you that way then, because that's a lot of time and effort. And also, I've had interviews with comedians, and there's a bit of envy sometimes there as well. And people might see it as a threat and shit like that.
What, from like other comedians and stuff?
Yeah.
Nah, if you book a gig, turn up, be as nice as possible to everyone, and be as funny as possible. That's all you can do, and that's held me in good stead. I'm just gonna keep doing that.
Who influences your style of comedy?
Ooh, it's just a bit of a merge. To be honest, I think everyone should just be them. Do you know what I mean? So in terms of influences, I'd say there's people that I like. Like I'm really enjoying Ron White at the minute. In fact, everyone I say that to has never seen Ron White. He's
no.
Yeah, old geezer in Texas, but he's got a few specials on YouTube that I've been watching.
Okay, I'll check that out.
Yeah, he's good, man. Yeah, who else have I been watching? I usually just I try and watch so Friday is my admin day. So I usually just try and spend all day in front of the laptop emailing bookers and just watch specials all day. So
why did you look like that? Was that the missus in case he was there and that you're not doing anything?
No, I'm just the telly. I'm just being weird. Just looking at the telly that I usually look at. Is there? No, she's not here. She's at a dance class.
Okay.
Yeah, going to get some exercise.
So, how long have you been together for?
17 years.
If you're not old enough.
Yeah, I know. You'd think so, wouldn't you? Well, we went to different schools, but we met. I was 15. She was 14. So proper. That is an old school relationship. But yeah, I know. But we don't seem old enough for that, do we?
Wow, that surprised me. And you've got one, or?
Yeah, we got one. He's 3.5. And to be honest, I'm surprised because he can definitely hear me. So I'm surprised that he stayed in bed because he had to go down a little bit early. I was half expecting to have to pause this a couple of times to go and put him back in bed, but he's been really good. But in general, he's all right at the minute. He's been a handful the last couple of years, but no, it's getting easier, man. It's quite nice getting to the point now I can take him over the park and play a bit of football with him or something, tire him out. It's quite nice.
Do you want any more kids?
She does.
Do you? I asked, not her.
Nah, yeah. No, I think it's yeah, no, I do. I don't think the bloke is ever in too much of a rush, are they?
No.
I don't. I could wait a couple of years. She wants to get it moving, but
she does. How's fatherhood changed, yeah?
That's brought things together a little bit more. That was well, we got a house project just before we got a house project livable just before he was born, about 3 weeks before he was born. So it was like a bit of stress from that. I had a lot of help from family and stuff. That was really nice. We got all that sorted. But yeah, when he come along, I don't know. I just didn't. I don't think you ever feel. You never feel ready, do you?
It happens when it happens.
I think that the last thing, even now, I'm aware that I'm like, this would be a terrible time for another child. trying to change careers and everything like that, and just no one can afford anything. Cost of living's insane. Do you know what I mean? You're going to Lidl's and you're like, I'll put them beans back, actually. It's a tight
Well,
week.
you know what? But it's funny you should say that. I still remember just before lockdown, somebody tweeted they were in Sainsbury's and they said that they were going to complain to their local MP because half the shelves are empty. And I was thinking to myself, when I read that tweet, imagine if they were in Malawi and or Ukraine and half the shelves were empty. They'd be bloody made up there.
Half the shelves might not be there.
Spot on.
Well, the kids stuff, like, as much as you're like, it never feels like the right time. I mean, realistically, it didn't feel like the right time last time, and it's fine. Do you know what I mean? It's always probably be fine. If we had an accident tomorrow and the next one popped up in 9 months, it'd probably be fine, wouldn't it?
I'm sure it would. It would.
Works out. There's a bloke at my gym. Oh, he'll love that. All right, Pete. I'm gonna say hi to Pete. I'll tell him to watch this. There's a bloke at my gym that he's got 7 kids. He's in his 70s. He's got 7 kids, and he's got about 1 billion grandkids. And I have absolutely no idea how he's managed that, but
he's done
happy.
Yeah,
he's happy.
It. Tell me about that word, happiness. What does it mean to you?
I've been thinking about that a lot lately, actually. Because when you're pursuing something new and times get a little bit tough and everything's a little bit tight, and because at the moment I'm covering, getting the bills covered, make a little bit online, a little bit with stand up and stuff like that, and maybe the odd little day of labouring. I'm at the start of the journey. Do you know what I mean? And it gets a little bit stressful, and then sometimes you lay there in bed and you think, what the fuck am I doing? Why would I not just get a job so that I can just, like, not worry? But then you're like, no, that's pursuing comfort. That's not pursuing happiness. That's insane.
Okay.
Why would you chuck your dreams away so that you can sit on your ass every fucking night just thinking, I wish I was at a gig? It doesn't make any sense. So I think them fleeting moments bring you back to reality, don't they? Where you're like, no, snap out of that. This is what you want to do. Brilliant. And if I got I'm stacking shelves in 8 months in Tesco's, I'm fucking stacking shelves in 8 months in Tesco's. It is what it is. Do you know what I mean? We'll still crack on.
But at least you're having a go.
Yeah, and I'll still be having a go then. I'll just be stacking shelves in Tesco's. It won't stop. It's just all you can do is try. But yeah, I think that's the pursuit of happiness. I think I'm leaving out a big chunk there. I think that's not everything. It's not all, like, I mean, you get there and there'll always be something else that you want. It'll be like, I wish that I had my evenings. I wish I had my weekends. And I think realistically, that's the pursuit of happiness. But actual happiness is just people and relationships. And that's the most important thing. And that is probably something that can get pushed to the wayside a little bit in pursuit of the other thing. Because it's a balance, isn't it, of personal and professional. It's like, is it happiness or is it accomplishments? And then you're like, well, actually, the best times are when you're sinking a Guinness with your mates, or you're kicking a ball around at the park with your little one, or, you do something that makes the missus happy, and you're like, oh, thank God.
Funny. Can I ask, who's the most important person in your life? You can only pick one person. I'd have to say my son, but I think that's fine because my wife would probably say our son as well. So, do you know what I mean? What if I said you're wrong? What if I said the most important person in your life is you? No, you'd be wrong. No, I'm right. No, I guess so. It all starts at home, doesn't it? What's the saying? Because you kind of encapsulated that before when you were saying about your own pursuits. If you're stacking shelves 10 months down the line, that's okay, but you're still pursuing what you need to do for you. Yeah, that balance is hard, though. That is one thing that you notice.
I think it's the same as anything, isn't it? If you're starting a business, any sort of career change or a professional pursuit like that, or something, when you're, what's the word?
Dreams, aspirations.
Yeah, like a passion, like a calling,
That's
if
the
you
calling.
will.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything like that. What was my point?
Well, what did I ask you? The question: who's the most important person in your life? And you said I was wrong.
Yeah, the balance. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
It's like, the balance is a hard thing, because it's like you don't want to go too hard on that. Whereas you do have to put your all in. But that's one thing that's really helped me, is not splitting focus. And I'm bad at it, because I always try and get more done. But I think the most important thing is, like, if you're having family time, put the phone away. If I'm watching a film, I mess this up every single time. If we're watching a film, we're having a bit of family time there or something, it just, before I notice, I'll just, it'll click, and I'll be like, oh shit, I've been staring at my phone for fucking 10 minutes. I'm like looking for replying to emails or something. It's like, no, put that down. Yeah, that's important to catch that, because especially with a little one, so demanding that you can't get anything done anyway. So just don't try.
What does love mean to you?
Love. I'm. Oh no, I was trying to give a serious answer, but I don't think I've got it in the locker. No, just being there, innit? Being there if, because everyone's got sides of them that they need some support with, and when things really go wrong, just knowing that person's got it covered. I did do a serious answer.
No, you did. I'm going to follow up with that one. Did you, when times have been difficult for you, have you put your hand up and said, help?
No, not really. I just made more bad choices, which is why it's important now for me to kind of be like, I know what I need to do. I know what the good choices are, and I know what I should be doing. And then sometimes you can calculate it, can't you? And you're like, all right, I'm going to actively make a bad decision, but I'm aware of that, and I'm taking the effects into account. So you think about it, instead of just being like, just ignore the effects, it'll probably be fine, and then it won't, and then you just end up in a massive hole for months. It's like, okay, no, I'm going to do something wrong, but it's fine as long as I just don't
mitigated against that. Yeah.
Yeah, like you got to weigh everything up, and you can't be too hard on yourself all the time. But at the same time, you got to be able to rein it in if you know you've got certain tendencies.
Absolutely. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the top, how much do you love or like yourself?
Yeah, no, I think I'm all right now. I'd say 6, a good 6, a strong 6, 6.7.
Okay. What would take it? What would have to change for it to go to 8.0?
I'd be able to follow through on all of the intentions I have with making relationships better.
Okay, tell me more. Relationships with whom?
I just think, as you said, as I said before, I just get like a bit too focused on what I'm trying to accomplish. And sometimes it's the people that get pushed aside, which does happen with age anyway. You do sort of like drift away from people, don't you? And like everyone's doing their own thing. But sometimes you get to a point where you're like, I didn't make the effort that I should have. Or when I was there, my mind was elsewhere. For me, that'd be the main thing, is just trying to, the intentions that you have of dedicating time to others, don't let that get manipulated by other things that are going on that you want. It's just selfish, isn't it?
Interesting. After this podcast, right, you go up, you check on the little fella, you come downstairs, there's a knock at the door, and it's 10-year-old you at the door. What would you say to him?
10-year-old me. I'll probably be like, get that Diodora tracksuit off, you freak. I don't know.
Put this Adidas one on.
I don't know. No, I don't think I'd change much. I think I'm in a. I don't think anything that I'm doing now. I don't think I should have done any sooner. So I honestly don't think I'd change. I can't think of anything that I'd want to risk changing or advice giving that would mean that I wouldn't end up being here doing this.
Where you're at now, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
so like
fair.
there's other things that I would have liked to have done. Probably be like stop stressing about money all the time. But like that's not going to change.
No. If you had to sacrifice anything in your life currently, what would it be?
In terms of what? What do you mean?
Anything. Interpret
What?
it any way you want. If
What,
you had to
like a lamb?
sacrifice, if you had to, like a what?
Or like a lamb with like loads of candles and the lights off.
No, not like that.
Yeah, I'll do a lamb. We see that. Make a nice roast.
Yes. Nice shawarma. Now, if you had to give up one thing, what would it be?
I don't know.
This is gonna. I know after this podcast, this is gonna play with your fucking mind now. You know, he's asking me all these weird questions.
I don't really care about things though. So it's sort of like I can't think of. It's not like a hard decision. It's sort of like, well, what do you want?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If we're
Yeah.
talking about things like material things, I
Meaningless.
don't know. Maybe I'm interpreting it wrong, but like all my clothes are from the charity shop. all of our stuff's secondhand. Our house, we could just get a different house. I don't know. I just think that you're just walking through the world, aren't you? So doesn't matter.
I like that. You know, from the get-go when we started talking, it wasn't just your smile, but there was an authenticity about you.
Yeah, or am I faking all of it? Who
No,
knows?
you're not faking it. You're not faking it. Definitely not faking it.
Well, that's good.
There is a
That means the bluff is bulletproof.
oh. There is a genuineness about you.
Well, that's good.
That's nice.
I'm definitely me then. No, that's nice to hear. Yeah, well, it's the easiest way to be, isn't it? Although everyone struggles with that when they're younger.
Yeah.
I think when you're a teenager and you're not sure who you are exactly, it's easy to get manipulated by your surroundings or your personality warps to whatever influences are around you. I know, you definitely notice that in the army with like the group think mentality and the. I do miss that though. That is.
Is it the camaraderie, that esprit de corps, that band of brothers thing?
Yeah, it's just fun as well, isn't it? Plus,
Yeah.
everyone's weird in their own way. It's just you got to do the same stuff. You got to do what you're told. But
100%.
nothing. No one was ever. Everyone, to an extent, everyone was accepted. As long as you're doing your job, it don't matter what you like. Everyone was accepted, and then some people just got shit more than others. Everyone got shit, but some people got shit more than others because they didn't help themselves.
That's the hierarchy, isn't it?
Yeah, but when it comes back to like school and not knowing yourself, that's. I mean, I got a mate who I always remember like wanting to be him as a kid, because not like be him, but be like him because he was so independent. And I just remember thinking like you're just trusted to do whatever you want. You're just you do like you. He didn't really do anything wrong. He had like the freedom to do whatever he wanted. He never did anything wrong, and it was just like I don't know. Now I've always had that in the back of my head. Where I'm like, oh, that's how you should live. You should have the freedom to fuck up, but know that you shouldn't, and then make the right decisions. And I sort of feel like it took me 30 years, but I kind of got there, ish.
Yeah. And, you know, every day is a school day.
Yeah. And he is a teacher now as well.
How have you found it being on the Hurt Locker?
Yeah, good, man. This was a nice chat.
That's it.
I'll be honest. I was almost falling asleep before we jumped on here. I thought I'm going to come on and look dishevelled and have like terrible chat. But no, you're not from you, from me. I mean, I thought I'm going to be a terrible guest because I've got nothing in the tank. But to be honest, this has been a lovely chat, and I don't feel like I've run out of steam at all. And I put it all down to your questions. What a great host! What bloody good host!
Well, thank you. We'll use that as a promo then, okay?
Yeah, definitely.
Any last words?
No, just have fun and just fucking don't worry about shit too much, I guess. That's you can't use that as a soundbite.
Yes, you can. Definitely. Then get it sorted.
Yeah, just don't worry about things really and just have a laugh. I guess, yeah, all right. Use that as a soundbite. That's not bad. Just me on the sofa reclined in my pajamas.
Pat Smith, thank you for being a great guest on The Hurt Locker.
Appreciate you having me on, mate. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And that's a wrap, Tim.
Almost, Yinka, almost. Thank you. We've just had a listener pop up in terms of a question. Stephen K. Is that okay if I just ask a quick question, Pat? 40 seconds?
Yeah, no, that's all good, mate.
Brilliant. Stephen says, massive fan of your work, Pat, on social media, your material, your content. Love all the videos you do. I'm going to see you live soon. But what I was wondering was, does the social media content influence anything you do, stand-up-wise or vice versa?
No, they're not intertwined at all. Everything for me is a writing exercise. So everything's separate. I'm working on a series of like longer form sketches with another comedian as well. Shout out Tash. All right, Tash.
All right, Tash.
And then that's Tasha Klusky. If anyone's watching, she's very funny. Check her out. And then yeah, so we're doing that. That's separate. My skits, that's separate. My stand up, that's separate. I think there's one joke that I've ever taken for like 1 5-second line that I've ever taken from my skits that I've used in my stand up. But for me, it's all, as I say, it's all a writing exercise. I try and write my every week. I try and make sure I'm working on all of my stand up material. Every week I write 5 minutes minimum of new content for socials, and then me and Tash work on some sketches as well if we've got time. But that's sort of on a bit of a cycle of writing, filming, editing. So that's pretty much separate. You're
disciplined in that way, aren't you?
Yeah, I think you. I think you have to. And don't get me wrong, it's not all great. I mean, some of the skits, I put them out. I only put stuff out if I think it's funny. But then sometimes they flop, and sometimes I'll watch them back and I'll be like, nah, I don't care. That's funny. It's just the algorithm hasn't picked it up. But then every now and then I'll watch one and I'm like, nah, could have been better.
Okay.
All you can do is do whatever you think's funny at the time. It's exactly the same as stand-up, isn't it? It's just on the internet instead. The only difference is if I write something for stand-up and you give it a go and it doesn't work, you tweak it, and if it still don't work, you just drop it. Whereas with these, I just leave them on the internet.
Thanks for that, Pat. That's brilliant. And thank you, Stephen, for your question. Really thoughtful question. Enjoyed that one.
Pat Smith, thank you.
Hey, look, lovely to meet you both. Thank you very much for having me on.
Thanks, Pat.
Thank you.
See you later, fellas. Bye.
The Hurt Locker is a safe space for our guests to openly share their mental health experiences. If you have been affected by any of the content in this recording, then please reach out for support. If it is an emergency, dial 999. If you would like to talk to somebody today, then please call the Samaritans on 116 123. Stay safe. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Hurt Locker. Please give us a rating or share with another listener. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at The Hurt Locker Pod.